Let me ask you something that might sting a little bit. What's the point of chasing the bag if your body's breaking down just trying to carry it? We like to say health is wealth, but most of us treat it like an overdraft account, swiping stress, caffeine, and overcommitment like we've got unlimited credit in that department. Until the bill shows up in the form of migraines, burnout, anxiety, or that one doctor's visit that starts with the words, "We need to talk." There's an ancient quote that says, "When health is absent, wisdom cannot reveal itself, art cannot manifest, strength cannot fight, wealth becomes useless, and intelligence cannot be applied." That quote, it hits me every time I read it, because when health leaves the room, everything you've built suddenly has no floor to stand on. Life is always moving, like waves on the ocean. Some rise gentle, some crash hard, but every wave carries the chance to begin again. I'm Vanessa, and welcome to Waves of Change, a space for mindset, mindfulness, and the things that truly matter. Together we'll pause, breathe, and remember, you're never too late, and your peace is never too far. You know that feeling when your body starts whispering to itself? Maybe it's that tightening in your shoulders, that headache you call just dehydration, or that low-key exhaustion that no naps can fix. Here's what I've learned. When you ignore the whisper, your body starts yelling, and eventually it'll make you listen. I used to think burnout was this badge of honor, that running on fumes was just part of the grind, until my body started its own whispering. I remember sitting in a meeting one day, heart just racing, mind foggy, nodding appropriately, pretending I was fine. But inside, my system had declared bankruptcy. It's wild how much we normalize dysfunction. We joke about needing caffeine to survive. We post memes about being done with people. But beneath that humor is a quiet cry for balance, a body whispering, "Please take care of me." We live in a culture that praises overdoing. We measure worth by output, not by well-being. But even your phone shuts down when it gets below 1%. Yet somehow we, the most advanced system on earth, pretend we can keep performing without recharging. That's not resilience, that's self-betrayal. Brene Brown talks about vulnerability as courage, not weakness. And one of the most courageous things we could do is admit we're tired, not lazy, not unmotivated, just human. You can't serve from a body that's breaking down. You can't innovate from a brain that's in survival mode. You can't love deeply when you're running on emotional fumes. When health is absent, everything loses clarity. Your creativity feels flat. Your patience disappears. Even gratitude feels like a task. Because the body and mind are one conversation, not two separate languages. When the body is in distress, the mind goes dark. And when the mind is overloaded, the body keeps the score. Science even backs this up. Chronic stress shrinks the hippocampus in your brain, the part of your brain that controls memory and learning. So yes, your brain literally changes its shape when you don't rest. This isn't about bubble baths or green juice or all those latest hacks we read about. It's about reclaiming the capacity to think clearly, to feel joy, to be fully alive again. I'll never forget the day my friend Joy called me. Her voice was soft, but it carried the kind of weight that makes you stop mid-breath. She said, "Vanessa, I'm sitting in my car and I can't move." There was no music in the background, no ambient noises, just silence, thick, suffocating silence. Then she whispered, "Help me." After what felt like forever, she said the words that landed in my chest like a thunderclap. "I think I'm having a nervous breakdown," she said. I remember gripping the phone, staring into nothing, because I knew exactly what she meant. That emptiness she described, I'd felt it too. The moment when the body and the mind finally says, "I've carried enough, I'm done. We sat there on the phone, both quiet, both holding the truth between us, and that silence became sacred, a kind of unspoken agreement that something had to change. That call with Joy was a wake-up call for both of us. No more pretending exhaustion was normal. No more confusing busyness with purpose. No more treating our bodies like machines that only deserve care once they've broken down. That day, we decided to rewrite the story, to measure progress not by how much we could produce, but how much peace we could protect. Because that's the real pivot, from ignoring to honoring, from performance to presence, from pressure to peace. After that call, something in me shifted. Joy's episode echoed for days. This is what happens when health leaves the building. And I realize so many of us are living on that very edge, smiling on the outside, unraveling on the inside, collecting achievements like souvenirs, but quietly losing ourselves in the process. That night, I sat in my own car just like she had, and I asked myself, what good is success if I'm too exhausted to enjoy it? We've been taught to chase the next best thing, but somewhere along the way, we forgot that peace counts too. That rest is productive, that joy is an achievement, that laughter at the dinner table is worth just as much as a full inbox. So Joy and I made a pact to start redefining what winning looked like, to slow down without apology, to say no to what drains us and yes to what fills us, to remember that rest isn't a luxury, it's a lifeline. When health is present, you don't chase validation, you radiate it. Your creativity blooms again, your relationships deepen, your faith feels lighter, like oxygen instead of obligation. So maybe the real question isn't, how can I do more? Maybe it's, what would happen if I stopped abandoning myself in the name of achievement? Because that's where true success lives, in the quiet courage to protect your energy, your joy, your health, no matter how loud the world gets. If this message hits home, here are a few invitations, not tasks, not to-dos, just ways to begin again. First one, name it. Say it out loud. I'm tired. Naming it removes shame and invites grace. Number 2, breathe like it matters. Inhale for 4. Hold for 4. Exhale for 6. Your body resets every time you honor that rhythm. Number 3, simplify. Choose one small ritual that feeds you. Morning sunlight, gentle stretching, journaling with no agenda. And number 4, connect. Healing doesn't happen in isolation. Find your joy. That friend who reminds you that rest is not rebellion, it's repair. These aren't grand gestures, friend. They're gentle pivots. Tiny shifts that help you reclaim the rhythm your body's been craving. Sometimes I still picture Joy sitting in that car, the stillness, the numbness, the quiet. And I realize that was never a breakdown. It was a breakthrough. Because that silence wasn't emptiness. It was an invitation to stop surviving and start listening, to stop pushing and start healing. Health isn't just physical. It's the foundation beneath everything else, the soil where your wisdom, your art, your strength, your joy can grow. When health is absent, everything unravels. But when health is nurtured, life returns. So if you've been sitting in your own version of that parked car, take this as your sign. This isn't the end of your story. It's the turning point. Take one deep breath right here, right now, and let it remind you your peace is never too far. Your body isn't broken. It's ready to partner with you again. And your healing doesn't have to be loud. It just has to be honest. If this message spoke to you, share it with someone else who's been running on empty. Subscribe to Ways of Change for more stories of courage, compassion, and transformation, because your peace, your health, and your healing, they're all worth protecting. Hey, y'all. I'm Vanessa, and this is Ways of Change. Thank you so much for joining me today. Remember, you're never too late, and your peace is never too far. Bye.